Boogie2988 is quite a unique person on the internet. In short, he had a tough childhood, but became famous online as a kind and comforting person who deserved a second chance. He preached about appreciating what you have, treating others well, saving money, and taking care of your health and life. Because of this, Boogie2988 gained millions of followers, views, dollars, and lots of love from his audience, along with mainstream awards like those at the Video Game Awards.
In this country, in this world, that is more deserving of this trophy, that has done so much to bring game.
But then things took a turn. Boogie started spending money carelessly, including on dating women much younger than him. He once made a video boasting about getting rich from cryptocurrency at its peak, thinking it would keep rising. Sadly, he invested in the wrong currency and later made a video saying he lost everything and needed support from his fans. But since then, a major event has happened, sparking one of the biggest internet dramas in years. Now, Boogie is seen as the most pitiful person I've ever seen, both online and in real life. You might think I'm being too harsh, but by the end of this video, you'll likely dislike him too. You might have heard of Keemstar, an important figure in internet culture, who organized a fight between Boogie and Wings of Redemption. Boogie lost embarrassingly without landing a single hit. However, Keemstar, a savvy internet businessman, saw a profit in this lolcow situation. The idea was simple. Boogie and Wings are washed-up streamers and YouTubers with few remaining fans. Despite their lack of viewers, there's a huge community of haters and trolls who are interested in their every failure. This is a big potential audience of former fans looking for entertainment from their humiliation. So, why not gather these lolcows on a regular podcast called the Lolcow Podcast and milk content from them? That's exactly what happened. Boogie and Wings agreed for a decent sum, knowing they'd be mocked. On the podcast, they were called cows, and guest YouTubers who mocked them were called milkmaids. Keemstar essentially became their agent. It wasn't just about the money, as Keemstar could have made much more from other projects. He even found fighters and organized fights for misfits. Compared to that, Boogie and Wings were small-time, but Keemstar grew up in an era where Wings and Boogie were giants, and in a way, he wanted to save their careers by giving them a sort of retirement home, or more honestly, a zoo. Keemstar also promoted his cows, starting with Boogie, who got a 1-hour documentary from rising YouTube star Michael Clam. Watching this documentary is physically painful, and it seems like making it was equally painful. Boogie is broke and barely has enough money to pay for his mortgage, medical bills, utilities, internet, and other expenses. He often talks about having many illnesses, including cancer, and says he could die at any moment. Do you think Boogie is trying to fix any of these problems?
My health insurance is $800. I have $500 worth of medical bills. I have $500 worth of utilities. I pay for doctor's visits, physical therapies, labs constantly. I still have to pay for the car that I drive. I still have to pay for car insurance. I still have to pay for health insurance. Diablo 4 came out, I had to buy it. Final Fantasy 16 came out, I had to buy it. Tears of the Kingdom came out, I had to buy it. That's $400 worth of video games right there. But if you take out all of it, you take it out, all I eat is sandwiches every day. All I do is sit here. If I pay for just that, I need $7,000 a month.
After watching his documentary, I truly dislike Boogie, and I think you might agree with me. Let's discuss this in more detail. First, he had to buy video games. He bought Final Fantasy 16 but didn't make any content with it, didn't stream it, and people found out he didn't earn any trophies in the game, meaning he didn't even finish the prologue. He bought the $90 collector's edition instead of the $70 standard edition because he felt he deserved it. Next, let's talk about how he needs at least $7,000 a month to survive. Yes, this man needs $7,000 just to stay afloat, and that's if he's only eating sandwiches. He doesn't seem to realize there's anything cheaper than sandwiches. In the documentary, he constantly visits doctors and spends huge amounts of money. You know, healthcare in America is expensive, and he doesn't have good insurance. Despite being told his health issues are due to his weight, and that he should eat better and take care of himself, he goes to a fast food place and orders a huge meal, washing it down with Mountain Dew. He sleeps with an oxygen mask and drinks Mountain Dew right after waking up. Then he has the nerve to complain on camera about his medical expenses, all paid for by his remaining fans' donations. Throughout the video, he talks about how little time he has left, that he will die soon because of cancer. He was so depressing that the documentary maker stayed in a hotel at one point, saying he couldn't stand being in the house with Boogie. The host tried to help Boogie find a job so he could earn money and live honestly. But during the interview, Boogie sabotaged himself, saying how bad he would be as a worker. He He then told the host he didn't want to continue filming and to come back in a few months when he was in a better mood. He acted like a superstar and didn't want to participate. When the host returned months later, Boogie had a girlfriend. She was 20, and Boogie is around 50. She was a fan who felt sorry for him. And yes, she had no father. Boogie said she had suffered a lot, and he was trying to make her life better, while still talking about his impending death. It became clear he was using her to avoid dying alone, not caring about the emotional damage he was causing her. Watching this documentary felt gross, like you needed a shower afterward. It was a disgusting story, but it gets worse. Boogie joined the Lolcow podcast, which initially didn't make much money or get many views. Keemstar got frustrated, often taking it out on Boogie, which was somewhat deserved since Boogie kept missing episodes because he needed to treat his cancer. When Boogie's doctor supposedly diagnosed him with cancer, he immediately made a video about it because he likes to be completely transparent with his viewers and wanted to show how bad things were for him. Many of his actions online were forgiven because people thought he didn't have much time left. Then, Boogie had drama with the channel Some Ordinary Gamers, which asked him uncomfortable questions. The specifics of these questions aren't important now, but let's discuss what happened during this drama. It was a loud situation, and Keemstar strictly forbade Boogie from discussing it anywhere except on his own podcast. Keemstar hired Boogie, and Boogie got a share of the podcast, which made sense. But Boogie couldn't resist and went on another Lolcow podcast, Review Tech USA, where he started discussing the situation in detail. Worse, Some Ordinary Gamers joined the stream on Discord, and they discussed every tricky point, drawing a huge audience. After losing such valuable content that could have brought many viewers to the Lolcow podcast, Keemstar was furious. He threatened to fire Boogie, saying he'd die in poverty unless he apologized to everyone he let down. Boogie did apologize, even though he initially said he didn't need to, and that his pride was more important. Keemstar brought him back because the kneeling apology situation also benefited the podcast. After all, it's a Lolcow podcast where people come to laugh at the members, not respect them. From that point, things were relatively quiet. The podcast gained an audience, and they recorded episodes regularly. However, there was a problem. Boogie was either late, asking for more money, or not showing up, always using the same excuse. His cancer flared up, and he needed to see a doctor urgently. Meanwhile, Wings of Redemption always showed up on time and took it seriously, like a job. No one wanted to blame Boogie because they thought he didn't have long to live. A few weeks ago, Boogie created his own coin. You know how YouTubers like making their own coins lately. The same happened with Boogie. Some guys gave him $10,000 and made him film a promo saying, "If you want to be as successful as me, you can earn with my fatty coin." Of course, when his remaining audience bought this coin, there was a rug pull, and they lost all their money. When people confronted Boogie, he said, "Well, I have cancer, guys. I needed the money for treatment. It was urgent. I didn't want to, but I had to." This made some people, especially YouTubers, very angry. They started suspecting something fishy. Boogie had been talking about cancer for years while doing bad things and using it as an excuse. Initially, Boogie said he had polycythemia vera, a rare condition where your blood has more red cells than white. It can lead to cancer, but Boogie claimed he had cancer outright. He even had a big cancer label on his video thumbnail. Some YouTubers waited for the right moment and coordinated with Keemstar. During the next Lolcow podcast episode, Destiny, XQC, and others joined the conversation and grilled Boogie. Boogie couldn't leave because he was paid a salary.
Bringing a buddy onto the show. You are not going to fucking like this.
Yeah, I didn't think I would.
Boogie2988, you are being confronted tonight.
Go ahead.
I am 99% sure that you are faking.
No, don't move.
You are faking your cancer diagnosis, Boogie. Did the doctor ever tell you, or did he ever say the word cancer?
He said polycythemia vera, which is a form of cancer, as he explained it to me. And no, it is not secondary polycythemia, which is Nicholas Diorio's explanation for this bullshit.
So I think it is secondary polycythemia.
Well, then
can you
why
explain?
Why would he call it polycythemia vera? Why would he tell me that I have hormone markers in my blood that tells me I have polycythemia vera? Why does he order a bone marrow biopsy to confirm it?
Well, if he ordered a bone marrow biopsy to confirm it, it would be weird that you told us that you already had a diagnosis and a confirmation.
Because the markers are in my blood. The hormone markers are in my blood, Destiny.
Correct. But you said that you had received a diagnosis, but now you just told me you got a bone marrow biopsy.
It's a diagnosis, and now we're confirming. It's called a confirmation. The hormone markers are already in my blood.
Yep. All of the things that Boogie described, both the things that caused this and the treatments for it, are consistent with secondary polycythemia. None of these are consistent with cancer. And the fact that he's saying that he's 2 years ago, you said that you had a cancer diagnosis, but now you just said now they're doing a biopsy to check for cancer.
Confirmation.
Is this House MD? Are we treating a blood cancer without actually confirming it yet? For 2 years, you've been having a cancer treatment without confirming there's actually cancer there?
They questioned him hard, pointing out that he never provided any proof of having cancer. Boogie said 2 years ago that he made a video the day he got his diagnosis, claiming he had a very rare form of cancer. But after the crypto scam incident, he insisted on needing a bone marrow test to confirm his cancer, even though he claimed to have had a definite diagnosis for 2 years. During this time, he blamed all his faults, mistakes, and scams on his supposed cancer and treatment, which was never confirmed. All he had was a blood test showing hormonal markers, but that alone can't diagnose cancer. You need many tests to confirm such a disease. It's strange that after 2 years, with people starting to question him, Boogie decided to get the bone marrow test. During the stream, Boogie denied not having cancer, saying everyone was lying, but he couldn't show a paper with his diagnosis. Even Wings of Redemption, who usually supported him as a podcast co-host, asked him to just show the paper and prove them wrong. Things escalated when Destiny and other big YouTubers offered Boogie money to show his diagnosis. They were serious about paying, and the potential cancer treatment fund for Boogie reached $80,000. Considering Boogie recently took $10,000 to scam his audience with a cryptocurrency, it made sense for him to take $80,000 and show the paper. But Boogie refused, saying it was the last piece of private information he had, and he'd rather everyone think he lied about cancer than show the paper. His sudden stance made it clear that he probably didn't have cancer and had been lying all along. They spent an hour and a half trying to convince him to show his diagnosis, which was painful to watch.
I just don't understand why you won't just go grab a piece of paper and just disprove them. Like you're having all these feelings.
They don't have
nothing with those words on it.
And like I said a year ago, when these motherfuckers tried to
hold on.
This is the one last thing I left. You motherfuckers were in my marriage. You guys were in everything else. You're in every aspect of my life. Let me have one goddamn thing.
You're trying to tell me.
Let me have cancer.
A $10,000 crypto scam, using partly his cancer thing as an excuse for why he needed to scam his fans.
I just wanted I wanted to join real quick because you just got caught lying about me to CoffeeZilla. All right, and now you're being confronted. And now you're being confronted on one of the biggest lies in internet history.
I don't consider it.
And you won't prove it?
No.
You won't prove it?
I'd rather you go ahead and print it.
If this is true, and you lied about cancer, this is the biggest scandal on the...
Many YouTubers joined the stream, offering more money to the fund if Boogie showed the paper. The final straw was when Mr. Medicure, a YouTuber with real cancer, joined. He showed his papers to prove his illness and shut everyone up. Boogie, however, continued to dodge the request.
You should be able to go right into diagnoses, and it's going to list everything that a doctor has ever said you had.
Yep, I just read it to him.
Okay, and so it lists the cancer there?
Yes.
Okay, so you could screen cap that and just show it. I mean, that's what I did, and then that would be the end of it.
Absolutely. And I made the decision 2 years ago that I would not do that, and I would rather leave the internet than to give the last shred of fucking privacy I have left.
Here's the thing. I understand the privacy argument.
Mm-hmm.
I
should have never went public with it.
No. Let me finish. I mean, you can redact information. There's no issue with that. But just showing, I mean, it literally is just a page that says patient diagnoses.
Yep.
And then it lists what you have. It doesn't tell you who the doctor is. It doesn't tell you what hospital you go to. It literally just says the disease name.
And I won't be doing that.
But I don't understand why not.
Because he does have cancer. He does have cancer.
Yeah, that's going to be the narrative they'll go with.
Imagine the absurdity. For 2 years, Boogie lied about having cancer, enjoyed the sympathy and forgiveness from everyone, and claimed he'd die soon. When asked for proof, he couldn't provide any, and painted those seeking the truth as intruders. Talking to a real cancer patient, Boogie still acted like the victim, hinting he might harm himself. Boogie hit all the marks on the bingo card for this stream. Boogie failed so badly that he even deleted his Twitter because he couldn't handle it all. However, Twitter can be restored within 30 days, so he likely thinks he can just wait out the scandal. Let's summarize the whole situation. Not only did everyone remember Boogie existed, but now everyone hates him. Literally, everyone made videos about what a horrible person Boogie is. If you lie about having a deadly disease to get sympathy and perks from people, No one will ever support you if they find out you lied. Keemstar, who was Boogie's partner until recently, and might still be since Boogie drew so many viewers to his stream, revealed more about the situation. Boogie did take steroids that could cause blood issues. 2 years ago, after losing all his money on cryptocurrency, he went to a doctor. They found he had a high red blood cell count and suggested he might have blood cancer. Before confirming anything, Boogie rushed to YouTube to claim he had cancer. 2 years later, he still hasn't confirmed it, but he's been telling everyone he has cancer to get sympathy and use this lie to promote his crypto scam and ask for financial support. This might even be a crime. Now, he has scheduled tests to confirm if he actually has cancer. Ironically, despite his lies, he might really have cancer. Boogie ruined his own life, even though he was in a position that 99.9% of people can only dream of. He had millions of subscribers, millions of dollars, and endless opportunities. He threw it all away and, even at rock bottom, managed to sink even lower, much lower. Subscribe to the channel and see you soon.